Okay, guys. So here's what we're doing. Okay, lads, we're asked to find the vertical height. Now, see that 20.8? That 20.8 is an angle. It's not a length. So the 20.8 cannot be used in Pythagoras' theorem. Everybody understand that? It's an angle, not a length. So because we only have one length, which is 700, it means we cannot use Pythagoras' theorem to answer this question. Okay, so that brings us to SOHCAHTOA. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to label each one. The longest side is the hypotenuse. Okay, the H is actually the opposite, isn't it? Does everybody believe H is actually the opposite? Because the eyeball's facing it. And that means 700 is what? The adjacent, okay? Okay. Yeah, it is, thank you. Okay, so what's going to happen here is the following. We're going to use tan. Can anybody tell me why we're using tan? We have the adjacent and we want the opposite. Okay, so it's tan 20.8. 3 marks are using the word tan. And then maybe 7 for getting isolating H is 7. Okay, so how do we get H on its own? That 700 is division on the right, which means what on the left? Multiplication on the left, okay? So 700 tan 20.8. Lob that into the calculator, and it'll come out as a H value of 266 meters. How many people got 266 meters there? Okay, good few of you did, all right? Any questions about it? Are you sure? Okay, guys. Now, let's have a look at the next one. Find the actual distance that from C to B. Lads, does anybody see C to B here? We could use Pythagoras' theorem pretty quickly, couldn't we? Would everybody agree that's 266? And that's 700? So that's 266. That's 700. And everybody agree that C to B is the distance x. So let's use Pythagoras' theorem. Which one's the longest side, lads? Which one's the longest? Which one's the longest side, lads? X. So we got to go for x squared equals 266 squared. Did anybody use this, do this question successfully using SOHCAHTOA instead? Or use sine, cos, or tan? No? Fair enough. So we use Pythagoras' theorem because we have two lengths. And they're both 56,756. Square root it. I'm sorry, you square root it, lads. What's the square root of that number there? Yeah, I think so. 748.8. Anybody got 748.8? Okay. How many people have both them correct at this stage? Right. All right, guys. Lastly, cable car takes 3.5 minutes to travel from C to B. Find the average speed in meters per second. That means to me straight away, this 3.5 minutes needs to be converted into seconds. How'd you do that? How'd you convert minutes into seconds? Times it by 60. So 3.5 multiplied by 60. Right. Now lads, 3.5 multiplied by 60 is 210. Okay. So lads, it's 210. So speed, we're looking for speed. Speed equals what formula, lads? Distance divided by time. And what's the distance? We have it up here. 748.8. Divide that by your 210. What happens when we divide that by the 210? And we get 3.6 meters per second. Some of you might have got 5 marks without that. That means I was just taking your answer from part B. So you could have got full marks without doing that, okay? You all right? Okay. Let's move on. Next question. All right, this one here. Now, a couple of things about this. Does everybody see this region in here? Does everybody see this region here? It's sort of a 3D model. It's that part isn't below the mountain or below the surface. Okay, so if you're walking on level ground, if you're a person walking on level ground from here to here, you'd be at the foot of the mountain when you reach here. Does that make sense? And if you were to tunnel through it, the foot of the mountain is this line here. It doesn't matter if there's stuff drawn underneath it. Okay? Calculate x. No hassle whatsoever. This is 764. We're going to use the angle of 23. What side is 764? Opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? Which one is it? It's opposite. What length is the x value? Is it the hypotenuse or the adjacent? Lads, hypotenuse or adjacent? The x. Hypotenuse. Okay? Next question I'm going to ask you is, can you use Pythagoras' theorem? Why? Not because you have an angle, because you only have one side. We only have one side, and so it means we're not able to use Pythagoras' theorem. Pythagoras' theorem is a no-go. Okay? So what's that rhyme we always use again? Chase a horse, chew air, attic. Okay? Which one should we use and why? Any idea, Thomas? Yeah, you have the opposite and you want the hypotenuse. You're going to use sin. What angle for sin? What's the angle? Sin 23. What's the opposite side? Yeah. And what's the hypotenuse? X. All right, guys, here's the awkward one. Okay. X is division on the right. What happens when you move the x over the other side? Huh? Comes multiplication. So it's x sine 23 equals 764. Now that's sine 23. It's multiply on the left. So what does that mean when it moves to the right? Division. So what happens there? 764 divided by sine 23. And what happens there? 764 divided by sine 23. What do we get here then, lads? And we got 1955.3. Okay, that's a difficult question. How many people got 1955.3 meters? Lads, suggest one possible source of error. Well, a source of error could be the height of the mountain could be wrong. What happens if over time a bit of the mountain falls off and it's no longer 764? What happens if more snow falls on top and makes it larger? Okay. Okay, guys. Hey, looking? All right. Anthony. This one here, all right? So we got to measure an angle, okay? And it says the angle to the vertical. So this angle x is the angle to the vertical. So it's an angle question, okay? Is Pythagoras' theorem any use? Pythagoras' theorem would calculate the length of the red sides. It won't tell you anything about the angle, though. No, you don't, because you already have two sides. You have 250 and 200 already. So you already know two sides. So you can get the angle using those two sides. Okay? So what I'm going to ask you is, what two sides do you know? Opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? You know the opposite and adjacent, okay? Now it comes down to your selection. What function do you want to select? SOH, CAH, or TOA? Tan, right? Tan. What's the name of your angle? Okay. And what's opposite? And what's adjacent? Okay. Now, what we said is angle questions always end what way? Huh? All right. Lads, always ends in tan inverse, sine inverse, or cos inverse. So you're going to use that tan minus 1 button, aren't you? Yes, sir. Huh? At the end of class again, yeah. Now, so lads, shift tan inverse, what's a 250 divided by 200? What do we get? 51.3. Okay. Now, there was one fault of mine, it didn't really affect anybody. See the correct to the nearest minute? That's an old exam. You don't have to do that anymore. Well, if you were asked for some reason, if they mess up, you just press this button here and you say it's 51 degrees, 20 minutes. You know that button we use for distance, speed, time? It's actually used for angles, because angles are measured in 60s just like time is. That's the only reason we get to use that button for time, because it's measured in 60s. Is that right? But that's no longer on the course apparently, so decimal was perfect. Cool. Now question. I'm like you guys. I think the steeper that is, the more likely there's going to be a landslide. Would you agree with that? That's what I believed. But then the question sort of contradicts itself. It says that all the avalanches occur between 25 to 45. What does that mean about our 51.3 degrees? It's unlikely to cause an avalanche. So, am I in danger of causing an avalanche? No. Reason being, 51.3 degrees is outside there, is above 45 degrees, let's say. Do you see what I'm saying? It's outside the range. If I was in between 25 and 45, an avalanche is likely. So I was agreeing with some of you guys, though. I thought surely the steeper it is, the more likely the snow is going to fall. But that's what the question says. So, okay. Oh, yeah. Please. All right. So, twin brothers Frank and Walter are at their local U club. This means at the point 00, you are at your U club. Okay. After 3 minutes, you're 500 meters away from your U club. At 6 minutes, you're still 500 meters from your U club. Does that make sense? And then after 8 minutes, how far away are you? 800 meters away. Does anybody know where I got those points from? X-axis and Y-axis. Now, what does this want from me? After 2 minutes, how far away are you? Now, this is difficult. Go to 2 minutes. That's shocking. Go to 2 minutes. Work your way up. Now, does everybody see that it's hitting above the 300 line, isn't it? Go to the right. What do you reckon? 3 and a bit? 330, 320, 340, somewhere in that range. How many people went for 330? 330 is perfect. Is that okay? Somewhere in the rough ballpark. Okay. Next thing. Question B. Finish the sentence below. Well, see the way these two are the same slope. How do I know they're the same slope? How do you know they're the same slope? Anybody tell me? Oh, are they? Was I wrong all this time? Good God, was I wrong? Huh? They're not the same, are they? I could have been wrong here. Do you know what it was? It looked identical in the first part. 2 across, 3 up. Oh, yeah. One of them's faster than the other one, so I had to revisit this now. Nuts. All right. So, lads, which one's faster, do you think? I think the first sector's faster, is it? So, you can get extra marks here because I obviously made a mistake. That's my bad. See this first one? The first one's steeper than the second one. So, you're going faster in the first part than you are in the second part. So, I was wrong with that. I have an absolute mare with this, all right? So, let's find out. Nope. The second one isn't faster. They're not working at the same pace. I got this wrong. That one. Who said the third one? Lads, are we looking? Lads, here's another way of doing it. Are you ready? Lads, listen up. Would everybody agree that you did 500 meters in 3 minutes? Would everybody agree with that? Just divide 500 by 3 and you should get 500 divided by 3. Your speed for the first part was 16.67. Okay. Now, in the second one, how many meters do you cover? 500 up to 800, which will be how many minutes? 2 minutes. What's 300 divided by? Oh, I'm on an absolute roll. That's 166.7. That's 150, isn't it? So 166.7 is faster than 150. And that fits the narrative of section C. Walks at a constant pace for 3 minutes. Stops for 3 minutes. Does he stop for 3 minutes or 2 minutes? 3 to 6 stops for 3 minutes. And continues walking home at a faster pace. No, that's wrong. Which one's faster? This is faster. So faster, and then this one's slower. So he starts off faster. So which one's that? So the last one's the correct one. Sorry, who got the last one out of interest? No one. You did. All right, well then give yourself 5 marks. Reason being, first one's 166, the last one's 150. My bad. That was unfortunate. All right. Lads, next one. C. How far from home was he 5 minutes after leaving the U Club? Well, 5 minutes. 5 minutes, you're still at the 500 mark, aren't you? So would everybody agree that that's 300 meters away from home? 300 meters away from home. Okay, so you're 300 meters away from home. How far from home was he? 300 meters. Next one. Lads, everybody listen. Walter left. Lads in the corner. Walter left 2 minutes after Frank. And then he arrives at 7:07. So 2 minutes after Frank would be located here. He arrives at 7:07, which would be, where's 7:07, lads? 7:07 is up here. And then what happens? Straight line, isn't it? How many people got that straight line? And when does he intercept Frank? When does he get by Frank? Roughly 7:05. Some of you wrote down 7:05 without the proper diagram, which means there's no way you could have got it, which means I can't give you his marks. Finally, the last one. All right, lads. How far means distance. Distance means speed multiplied by time. Speed is 6. Time is 2 hours and 20 minutes. Some of you pressed the wrong button. It has to be 6 multiplied by 2 hours, 20 minutes. 14 kilometers. 14. Okay? You'll find in the next question that ship B travels 21. And you want the average speed. Speed equals distance divided by time. Distance is 21. Time is still 2 hours and 20 minutes. Make sure you use the correct button. Nine kilometers an hour. Everybody happy with 9 kilometers an hour? The last question is to find the distance between the two ships in this form here. So if you go back to your original question, we're doing Pythagoras' theorem. Everybody ready? We want to get this distance here. Let's call it x. X squared equals 14 squared plus 21 squared. Lads, what is 14 squared plus 21 squared? Huh? $637 square root that. 7 root 13. Who got 7 root 13? Awesome. All right, lads.